Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if these guys in Russia are listening to what I'm saying or it's just a normal development. I mean, the steps that the Russians are taking regarding Germany are the exact steps I mentioned a few days ago. And that is if the Germans, I have about 6 articles, if the Germans provide Ukraine supposedly with Taurus missiles to strike within Russia, deep inside Russia, I said that Russia can consider that being a declaration of war, therefore can hit targets inside Germany. That's what I said. And I said targets could be Rheinmetall, the manufacturer, the arms manufacturer company that makes these missiles. So I said probably their boss is under, you know what I mean? So targeting the Rheinmetall factories or military bases, German military bases in Germany. I said they should strike in there. If you use those missiles to strike inside my country, I will use my missiles to strike on you in your country, especially in the arms manufacturing company in Germany. Nevertheless, if those missiles, according to the Russians, are deployed to Ukraine, are not going to be operated by the Ukrainians, will be entirely operated by their Bundeswehr, by the German military, that will make them direct participants in the war in Ukraine. And according to someone here says, if that missile strikes Moscow, Oreshnik, 2 of them will strike Berlin. Now, this Taurus missile has a range of about 500 kilometers and can reach, possibly if it's launched from the border border with Bryansk or Chernihiv in Ukraine. If they are launched from the border from there, they are able to hit Moscow. But the point is this, according to the Russians, even if the Taurus missile is intercepted or not, we will still going to try to strike Germany as the country. And I have a few warnings coming from Lavrov, who says the Germans had the First World War, the Germans had the Second World War, and they will go to their own destruction if they continue to do this. The third time, he says. The third, right? 3 times. And then also Lavrov said that the Germans clearly understand the normal steps under the circumstances. And he hopes that the clear minds over there prevail in Germany. I don't think so, because I will read you during the reading of the articles here, I will try to disclose to you Germany's situation as a state. And that is from since 1945. What happened to Germany? And who would like to destroy Russia? What's the problem between the Germans and the Russians? And who is the in-between guys that try to provoke a direct war between Russia and Germany, which will be the total destruction of Germany? Germany doesn't have nuclear weapons. Start with that one. The Americans have nuclear weapons deployed in Germany because Germany is still under occupation. Let's put it clearly. So let's start with the first topic or the first article. This comes from Sputnik 7 hours ago. Germany's Ukrainian escalation signals Berlin's slide towards World War I and World War II-style ruin, Lavrov claims. In this little clip, I'm gonna cite what he said. Berlin's push to escalate tensions and fuel the Ukrainian crisis signal that Germany, and I'm quoting, is being drawn directly into this war. You mean drawn by whom? Drawn or pushed? They don't go because they want. Russia's foreign minister told journalists, and I'm quoting, I hope responsible politicians in this country make the right conclusions and stop this madness, Lavrov urged. As for Trump's recent hostile rhetoric, I'm going to deal it in a different video. Earlier, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that the United Kingdom, France, and the United States and now Germany had lifted range restrictions on military supplies to Ukraine to allow Kiev strike targets deep into the Russian territory. That's the Taurus Missile in action. That's exactly what I said. You guys are in it. If you allow, you are in it. Well, I would have said this much, much earlier. So this is the first article. The second one, let's go to Russia Today. 28th of May 2025. Germany sliding down to collapse, Lavrov says. Berlin is becoming directly involved in the Ukraine conflict. Germany is repeating historic mistakes by becoming involved in the Ukraine conflict, a trajectory that could lead to its collapse. And this is what it says. Direct involvement in the war is now obvious. Berlin's direct involvement is now obvious. Germany is sliding down the same slippery slope it already followed a couple of times in the last century, down towards its own collapse. All right. The Russian diplomat expressed hope that responsible politicians in Germany would ultimately draw the right conclusions and put a stop to this madness. What could be the conclusion? We're going to destroy you. We're going to destroy you. And you can't destroy us. And after we destroy you, the Brits will applaud. That's one of the guys who are in charge of you will applaud. Because then they think they could trigger the Americans in a direct confrontation with Russia. Who could be those guys? Who could be those guys who try to push the Germans, then the Europeans and the Americans against the Russians? Only someone who has a big frustration with Russia. Who could that be? Who could that be? Well, I will explain while we go with this video. All right, so here it is. Speaking alongside Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky, who visits Berlin, Merz announced that what he described a new form of military-industrial cooperation with Kiev, saying the two sides want to ensure joint production of long-range weapons. Though he declined to share details. They already said it. They said Rheinmetall will build, if they didn't build yet, a factory. I will show you where on the map. A factory in Ukraine by Hungary and Romania, where it's very hard to hit them unless you go around and you enter. It's like you're in a corner. So in order to come to the factory, you either have to enter Hungary or you have to enter Romania, if I remember correctly. So they're right there. So you have to come through this little thing, and if I put a few things over there, I can defend. Unless you send something hypersonic and these guys cannot hit it. All right. So this is the cooperation is supposedly the Germans will make missiles with the Ukrainians. They will call them Ukrainian Taurus, and they will hit the Russians. It's a whistle way of saying it's not us, it's the Ukrainians, but actually it's us. But you can't hit us. No, you can't hit us because it's not us, man. We worked with the Ukrainians. It's Ukrainians all along because Ukrainians have satellites and everything else to hit targets inside Russia. Or they can just borrow some Starlink access. All right, so listen to this one right here. Moscow has consistently condemned Western arms deliveries to Ukraine, arguing that they fuel more bloodshed and obstruct peace efforts. The Kremlin warned that the latest provocative actions by EU states could further hinder diplomacy. All right, the next one. Germany to help Ukraine produce long-range weapons. And here are the guys. This little fucker has this little loser by his peanut balls right there, because what's behind this guy owns this guy and his country. This guy is just the head of who is in charge of these guys and who has been in charge since 1945. It was the Americans first, but then since America got again controlled by the same guys, back they got now Germany. Let me tell you this about Germany. Germany is an occupied country. After 1945, the structure collapsed and it was built another one. And the new structure was built after the under the American supervision and dictatorship. They said you can't have that, you have that only then, you don't have that and you have that. The West Germans constitution was written by the Germans, but when they got the draft they gave it to the Americans. The Americans looked over and said, no, you can't have weapons, German people. No, you don't put that in the constitution. No, you don't have the freedom of speech like we have. And they gave it back. So actually, I give you you write it, and every time you bring it to me, I said no, yes, until you bring the right one, which is, I rather tell you, man, write in that little piece of shit this. Pack. But they didn't want to do it that way. They wanted to give the illusion that the Germans, the free Germans after evil Adolf, they wrote their own constitution. But every time they wrote the draft, they brought it to the Americans. And the Americans said, no, this is not. Yes, and that's American written. I mean, really? Okay, so that's the one. And the structures and the people in that country, including the continuous shaming and blaming the German population, collective punishment, collective blame for something they haven't done. That's another thing that has been done in schools, in their television, in their media. The politicians could not, the media mainly, could not get higher in their society unless they condemn their own nation and their past, as if those, I don't know, from 1933 to 1945, so let's get what, 12 years, that is all what Germany has as history. That's it, nothing else. No Bismarck, no nothing. No Friedrich the Great, nothing, man. Just that qualifies you, that defines you. Like I would say Moses, that Moses, that mass murderer, read the Old Testament, he should define, I know, those guys' history. Is like, okay, I make a mistake. Oh my God, that mistake, Emil, defines you forever and ever. And you owe me. Who's we? Who's me? And you know who. Let me show you. Right there. And he's not the imbecile, the tall imbecile. All right? He's a short midget. I mean, if it's midget, it's a short anyway. So, here you have. This is the guy. On Wednesday, the Chancellor said he also informed Ukrainian leader Zelensky that Berlin will support Ukraine in developing its own missile capabilities. Our defense ministers will sign a memorandum of, let me put it like this, of understanding today regarding the procurement of Ukrainian-made long-range weapon systems. No, it's going to be the Germans building with the Ukrainian names and stamp them Ukrainska Pravda on them, and that's the new missile, which is Taurus. We also want to ensure joint production, but we will not disclose details publicly. Okay, good for you, my friends. Moscow has condemned Merz initiative, with Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stating that Germany is, I'm quoting, competing with France for primacy in further provoking war. I totally agree with that one. All right, let's see what's going on here. Following Merz's earlier claim about the lifting of restrictions on the use of Western long-range weapons, Peskov warned that this could lead to a serious escalation in the Ukraine conflict. He added that it severely undermines attempts for a peaceful settlements that have been made. There's not going to be peace decided by negotiations. It's going to be peace decided by who destroys the other side. Clear? That's my conclusion. All right. Peskov also pointed out that Kiev lacks the necessary targeting systems to conduct long-range strikes independently, and argued that enabling these attacks would make Western countries direct participants in the conflict. These statements are further proof that the European Union is not striving for peace and does not want to resolve the Ukraine conflict through diplomacy. Next one. Kremlin responds to Germany's long-range missile pledge to Ukraine. There it is. Provocative actions, the same thing here. Peaceful efforts is not going to happen. And that's the way it is, my friends. Let's go and see. We want to enable joint production, memorandum of understanding. All right. They want this. And what's going on here? Merz later clarified that this decision to lift restrictions on Western arms used by Ukraine had been made months ago. Like, okay, we've been raping these guys for a long time. So what, is all of a sudden legal or something? Further confusing the public and reigniting debate over the possible delivery of German Taurus cruise missiles. With a range of up to 500 kilometers, the missiles can be used to strike deep inside Russian territory, including the Russian capital. You got it? Let me show you a map. All right, so this is the map of Europe, and here is Ukraine, this is Russia. Now this is Moscow right there. So this Moscow, from here to here, is 500 kilometers. They could be hit from here to here, my friends. So this is what I'm talking about. And regarding that, how do you call it, the location where Rheinmetall builds its factory. I'm going to show you where that is. And that is right here. See where Romania is and Ukraine and Hungary? There is over there. I'm going to show you on a different map. Oh, not Iceland. God damn it. It's right here. It's right here. I'm going to show you just a little cove in there. And if you want to hit it from here, you have to come only in this direction. This location, you can't come this way, you can't come that way, unless you violate those countries' airspace. And let me show you where that is located on a different map. Right here. So again, this is Ukraine. All right. And we're going to go to Romania. This is Romania. This is Hungary right here. This is Romania. Basatu Mare. This is where these guys want to locate it. You see this point right here? That's exactly where I want to locate it. So if you want to come and shoot your missiles here, so this is the border right here. This is Hungary here, this is Romania. So if you want to hit that right here, let's say my hand is over there, you have to come with a missile around here, you have to come here, and you have to come here, and then somehow hit over there, or cross over Romanian airspace right here. My point is that this little thing is narrow, is not a big distance between these two, so you can possibly defend it very much. This is the location, remember, and I'm going to show you on the map, is right there where Romania meets Hungary for the first time, right there where my strong hand is. Or the other map is right here. That's where it's at, and that's where the Russians will destroy. But they said, no, you know what, we're going to destroy something right here, including Berlin, with some Oreshnik. That's what they say. You're gonna see in a next video. Moscow has warned that supplying these weapons would make Germany a direct party of the conflict. You understand what this is? So when Lavrov said, understand what the next steps will be, this is what he's talking about. Exactly that. Nothing else. Russia has constantly condemned Western, Let's go to the next article, right there. All right. If they strike with Taurus, Russia's next target will be German military facility. 10 hours ago today on the, 28th, or over there, 28th. Ukraine does not have the technical capability to operate Taurus missiles on its own. Without German military specialists on the ground, these missiles are useless. This means Bundeswehr soldiers would directly participate in combat against Russia, says Igor Korochenko, military analyst and editor-in-chief of National Defense. That's exactly what I said in many of my videos. I will show you what videos. And I'm quoting, giving Taurus missiles to Ukraine's terrorist Zelensky regime and their use against Russia means Germany is officially at war with Russia. For the third time in history, Germany becomes a world war instigator. And they explain, regardless of whether Ukraine's Taurus strikes are intercepted or hit targets, Russia's task is to, and I'm quoting, retaliate with 2 Oreshnik complexes, medium-range ballistic missiles carrying 12 hypersonic warheads in total, conventionally armed. Such a strike would target the missile production plant, singular, in Germany for total destruction. If Ukraine continues using Taurus missiles against us, the next German military or industrial facility will be destroyed. We do not want war, we want peace. But under the United Nations Charter, we will act in self-defense. You got that? Right there. Oreshnik is gonna destroy you. Clear? And I'm not over. Let's go to the next one. This is even worse than the previous one. Russia Today, the same 28th of May. Russia could target Berlin if German missiles hit Moscow. Russia Today editor-in-chief Margarita Simonian warned of retaliation if a Taurus is deployed by Ukraine against the Russian capital. Got it? Russia would not rule out a direct strike on Berlin if German personnel help Ukraine target Moscow with German-supplied Taurus missiles. Got it? Speculation that Germany could supply Ukraine with Taurus missiles capable of striking targets up to 500 kilometers away and potentially reaching the Russian capital from Ukrainian territory was reignited after pop. You got it? You got it? This guy right there. Right there, my friends. And let me show you. In this video here And this video here, more likely, I think this is from 3 days ago. This is how Germany will go to war with Russia, I said. In this one, I said what the Russians will do. And this is what I wrote in the thumbnail. That's how Russia attacks Germany unprovoked. And I explained that. You'll see, my friends. Go and see, that's exactly what I said. The Russians will destroy, or could destroy, arms manufacturing companies, Rheinmetall, the factory in Germany. In Germany, not in Ukraine. I don't think that's built already where I showed you. So it's just a normal step, I would say. All right. So what do you think, my friends? It's clear. Bottom line, if you move any Taurus missiles given to the Ukrainians and they're launched, if they're launched, they don't have to be, as I said, regardless if they hit a target or not, we will destroy a plant in Germany. They manufacture it. If that happens again, we will hit the next plant in Germany with Oreshnik hypersonic ICBM medium range. And if one missile strikes or goes towards Moscow, we will hit Berlin. Bottom line, you got it? Now you can say, no. Okay, who would benefit? Why is this fixation, let's put it this way, I mentioned that in 2 other videos of mine. Why is this fixation of Germany to fight the Russians? Is it because Germans are strong? Is it because they're morally superior to everybody else? Why is it? First, Germany is not strong. First, Germany has no nuclear weapons. Germany has American troops to defend them against the Russians. So that tells me the Germans are weak. That's the first point. Now, Germany has the problem with Russia. Germany can have a problem with Russia only under one circumstance. One. And that is the Second World War. That's it. In the First World War, the Tsarist Russia did not fight the Germans necessarily. They fought a little bit over there, but that's it. This guy said, we're done. The Bolshevik Russian Revolution succeeded. Trotsky was in charge with Lenin, which was not Russian. Trotsky was not Russian, but who cares? Trotsky's name was Bernstein, right? Bronstein, and Lenin's name was Mr. What's his name? Ulyanov. Maybe 25% Russian. Ulyanov, maybe. The rest, other things. So, okay, that was the Russian Revolution, as I am Zimbabwean, okay? So that's what happened then. So they ride high. After this high, you know who? After the Second World War, yes, that was Soviet Union. Russia was part of the Soviet Union. So was Ukraine and the Baltics, right? So then you have nicely the Russians coming over and raping Germany, unfortunately. Not Russia, the Soviet Union. Do you remember who were some commissars who told the gallant Red Army soldiers to go and have fun with the German ladies? I'm putting it euphemistically. I'm talking about, it's written, you have those little manifests. Brave Red Army soldier, go and return what they did to your country, do that. Go and check their fucking names, right? And after that, they were kicked out. And then they came back after 1991. After the Soviet Union collapsed, they came back. And then Putin kicked them out. And now they went to Germany and they went. They're in charge of Germany and the United States of America. And they tried to get these guys fight that for their own problems, for their own frustrations. It's not the Germans' frustration. Because if Germany would be frustrated, Germany would have a problem with France. Germany would have a problem with Americans. Germany would definitely have problems with the Brits. That tells me that you eliminate that. Because if it's a Second World War frustration, Germany was fucked up by all these guys, and the initiator was Great Britain. So I would hold a big grudge in the first place against the Brits. So I would hate those guys. But no, I do what they tell me. So that tells me something else. It can be the French. It can be these guys who fought against me. Why the Russians? It's not because the love between the Ukrainians and the Germans, non-existent. It just appeared 3 years ago. Okay, that's it, was activated. By whom? Someone who has a goal in destroying Russia. Who has the goal? Germany? If Germany has the goal because of the Second World War, we'd have the goal with Great Britain, as I said. Now, there's only one country which has as a policy to have a weak, to avoid having a strong entity or country or empire on the continental Europe, and that's Great Britain. That's their goal. If you have Napoleon getting strong, we have to make a coalition to destroy him, to have little states, no power. So we can divide and conquer. So Great Britain, who's in charge of Great Britain? You want to know? I would like you to read the Balfour Declaration. And from there you can get a clue. You're going to get almost to the same common denominator. The Brits tried to destroy Russia for many, many centuries. They used them, Tsar Alexander and others, to fight Napoleon, and then they didn't care. The Crimea War is an example. And not only, even Rasputin was was with a British spy. Over there, what did they want? They want to take care of Rasputin. Rasputin was not a drunk imbecile who was fucking ladies of the night and the queen, the Tsarina, as these guys are making that garbage. No, he was not. But hey, he was a Russian, and it was a big problem. A nationalist again. You remember who killed the Tsar Nikolai? Right? The last Tsar with his family? Go and check the fucking names. I super dare you. Who was in charge of that assassination? The commissar. Go and check it out, my friends. And you're going to find out things. And those guys were kicked out, and now they want revenge on Putin and the Russians. All right? That's my assessment. Maybe it's wrong, my conclusion, my opinion as a free person, as stupid as it is. All right? But everything I said is true. I didn't lie. I didn't say anything that's not true in everything I said. Maybe they don't like the connections I make. That's a different story. The connections they're not supposed to make. The point is this: Germany will be destroyed, the Brits will applaud, and then they will draw everybody in to fight the Europeans again for the third time. Who's going to benefit? They will benefit. I'm sorry for the Germans. The Germans are pushed into this and shamed all the time. The Germans cannot be moral superior to the Russians. Say, okay, we do this, we help the poor Ukrainians. Because if that would be the case, would be other countries that really are morally superior. But they're not. They're not. They are under the constant blame game. Their society is sick. It's like sick. Sick of, like you have poison poured in your system all the time. By whom? By the same guys who own you. Making you be ashamed, but all of a sudden be a monster and fight the Russians? You don't dare to fight Albania, goddammit, Germany. So they are just used. They're like a monster who's just unleashed here, brought back, unleashed there. And Germany is the next one going to be destroyed. And guess what? When the Russians will do that, the media owned by the same guys I'm talking about will write, oh, see, we were all right, they are bad people. And they will start the history when they want the history to start, and they will pick and choose the evidence. Everything else that will run against their narrative will be ignored or interpreted in such a way that will not make sense. And hey, he was just Hitler. Yeah, he was just an irrational guy. But very evil, very calculated in his evilness, but irrational. He held irrational feelings about and thought about something, but he was very irrational in taking care of bine. Okay. If you buy that, that's fine. Other people have questions regarding that kind of simplistic interpretation of a guy's life and whatever. But it's not about that guy. It's about Germany being at the point of being destroyed. The problem is the media will portray that as a direct attack by an aggressive Russia. That's it. There's a media in Germany. Instead of, why? Because they're going to withhold the information. How did we get here? Why did you do this? Who are you to get involved there? To this extent, why you? They told you they will smack you and you still do it. Why? Someone in charge of Ukraine does not care how many Ukrainians die, and someone in charge of Germany will not care if Germany as a nation exists. So they want Germany exterminated with the Russian hand. Who could that be? A payback for what? 1939 to 1945? Could that be? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.